Good morning, good morning. So, I had like maybe 3 or 4 work orders today, and one of them was for an electrical issue. It sounded like they had like a million things wrong with the electrical. Nothing was working, it sounded like. And then I called up the tenant, see what's going on. Job's already done. Okay, cool. And then there's another work order. I had to change a doorknob and give all the keys to the tenants. I gotta go this way. So I called the property manager. Property manager says, "Oh, you weren't supposed to get that work order. I wanted somebody else to do that." I'm like, "Okay, no problem." Called the or I let the office know about that so they can give it to somebody else. There was a drywall fix I have to do, and called them up. They didn't pick up, texted them, no answer. Eventually they just texted me like maybe 10 minutes ago, and I told them I am no longer available. So I'm supposed to be doing that tomorrow at 7 a.m. What else am I supposed to do? There was another one. Oh, there was a bathroom sink. It's clogged up. They're not available until later in the day. I'm probably gonna have, they're available like that every single day for the rest of the week, so I'll probably have to do that on the weekend. I usually run into problems when tenants say they're not available till 3, 4, 5, which is, it's understandable. I mean, people have to work, you know? It just sucks for me. So, yes, if I had enough jobs that day that'll carry on to the afternoon, then I'll go try to fit them in. Then I'll get them in. But the problem is, if I have 2 or 3 jobs that day, and I like to start in the morning, and I'm done by 12, I'm not gonna fiddle my thumbs around for, 3, 4 hours, saying, "Oh, yeah, time to go to work," especially for a discounted job. So, yeah. Today, go gallivanting. I like to, I watch YouTube a lot, and what stuck out to me was when I was watching the Handyman Journey. They have a podcast, and they were interviewing the Bulletproof Handyman. He's on YouTube too. They're both of them are. The Handyman Journey and Bulletproof Handyman. I kind of like watching the Bulletproof Handyman. Not kind, I do. He brings up certain pricing, and they were talking back and forth in the podcast, and he was bringing up how he makes a packet, and this is how he finds new work. So, I mean, I do work for 3 property managers. One's my main. Another, I have a smaller one I do work for. They call me once in a blue moon. Actually, that's another job. Should have probably called them today, but they canceled on me yesterday. Screwed me over. And then I have this bigger property management company. That was the one I was going to the city for. And that's when I was having all those issues where I said I don't want to go to the city. They do have jobs closer to me, but it was I somehow, like, the girls I dealt with were awesome, and now some of them I was dealing with, it was like ridiculous. Like, wanted to go check on something. I mean, okay, well, I got the parts in the truck, I could do it for this price. Like, well, we gotta get that proof first. I'm like, well, thinking to myself, this is so dumb. So, I mean, I need my service charge then. Okay, what is it? And I was just saying, I mean, my regular minimum is like 150. But for these guys that bring it down, so I'm like $100. And they're like, well, would that be applied? Would that be applied to the job? Thinking to myself, I'm like, how do you make money? That these people are saying, these handymen are saying that? They're crazy. They're crazy. Because there's not enough money in the job. I'm like, no, it will not be applied to that job. I had to go drive over here, diagnose it, call you up, send you pictures, play the game. It's not gonna be applied to the job. Sorry, I don't work for free. So I'm like, whatever, charge them $100, and they have to go wait for approval for it, which I never heard back, which is fine. That happens sometimes. That's really rare for me. Usually I'm like, just get it done. Get it done, because now they just charge themselves an extra $100 where I could have just, would have been $100 cheaper, just dragging it out, because I need to get approval. That's why I usually like dealing with my main property manager, man. They know how to get stuff done. When it's got to get done, it's got to get done, no matter what. But yeah, this packet. So I want to find more work right now. I usually just Google property managers, go down the list, and I did it a while ago, and that's how I found my main property manager, just by calling down. But I called like maybe 20 or 30. You got to keep track so you're not calling the same people twice. Some people have, you know, their own employees, some people don't, or you can't even get a hold of them, or you leave an email, or you leave a voicemail, you won't get a call back. But yeah, I called a while ago, probably about a year ago, about 20 or 30 of them. Got zero out of it. Zero. But what the Bulletproof Handyman and brought up to that on that podcast was that packet. And it's getting hot in here. Like, he was bringing up like the first page would be like the intro. And, you know, tell a little about yourself. I pretty much just put a logo and say, hey, my name is Brian from so-and-so company. Tell my minimum price. And then also, you're going to include in the packet, you know, your insurance, your workman's comp, your business license. I have my electrical license, so I just included that in my number. Included that in the packet, just a number. Also, I incorporated my good standing report for my limited liability company in there, and then a W-9, a voided check, all that. Pretty much, you want to set it up. Well, once I heard that from him, I thought it was an awesome idea, because it shows them that you're serious, shows them you're professional, and you get it done. He didn't say all that, but if you think about it. And the cool thing is too, they might not need your services right then and there, but you know, maybe 2, 3, 4 months down the line, if a handyman's slipping up, or they're sick, or they're calling off, or they're blowing them off, I'll be on the top of the list. When you're going through, you know, they got the packet, just pull it out. Pull it out. And he was talking about how the Bulletproof Handyman was talking about how he pretty much just created his own competition, which I thought was funny. I'm not really scared of creating competition. That's why I like to make these videos to help out people. That's why some people are saying, you know, man, you're telling everybody how to, you know, do their own jobs or fix their own work. You won't get no work. They keep fixing their own problems. Yeah, but I guess apparently he's creating his own competition, which would kind of scare me, because he's telling these handymen what to do and breaking it all down to the point where if he's saying that, he's running into it. If he's saying his own competition, these guys are popping up in his town or whatever, which is like, well, it keeps him on his toes, if anything. I like it. I like it's positive. Obviously, he's not gonna, you know, he has this in his mindset where, you know what, trying to keep him on his toes, and he's gonna force him to do that much better. I wonder if he's keeping anything away from anybody. He's an honest guy, but Because to tell you the truth, I mean, like competition, but if I have to start pop up around me and we're going for the same stuff, it's gonna make life a little bit harder. That's for sure, especially when work starts dwindling down. I believe, see, when you look up handyman near me in next to my town, I'm pretty highly rated, not gloating. I worked hard for it. I asked for my reviews. Always try to do 120%. But if people are just if all these handymen are all looking for proper managers, or starts getting really saturated. I think a lot of people start their own handyman companies. There's a lot of work out there. A lot of work. Now I'm just like going through Google, I'm like seeing how many handymen are going down that list. There's a lot of competition. A lot of competition. And why are they gonna pick you? That's the whole thing. Really gotta make yourself stand out there. I stress about reviews. It's all about reviews. You have to be on Google. You have to have a website. You can use Google's free website, but you should get a legitimate website. They don't cost $1 million, especially when you make them yourself. You have to buy your own domain. I think I was using Wix. Yeah, I was using Wix, and some people are saying it doesn't even score high on Google's page or whatever for SEO. I think mine's on the second page of Google. It's all over the place. There's a handyman company. I think it's a corporation. I started looking them up. I don't want to give out the name, but these guys mean business. They just popped out of nowhere, probably about a year or so ago. And I started looking into the company. It's a bigger company. They own like a plumbing company. They own like 5 or 6 companies, and they're pretty big. They're pretty big. So they just decided to open up a handyman company, hiring employees. They're charging, I looked at their website. I think they're charging quarter days or half day rates and full day rates. But their SEO is strong. They are popping up. They were advertising, and they would just pop up. Not they would. I guess that's not past tense. They're still. You look up handyman, their website comes up like right to the top. And I noticed that these guys were advertising. So then obviously, you know, there's more favoritism, because when you're sponsored, when you're actually advertising, it helps your page go up higher. So I haven't looked at it in a while. I'm sure that they'll still be higher in Google, even if they're not advertising. And they got all these reviews out of nowhere. And I was looking at them, they're pretty legit. Pretty legit reviews. They're short and sweet too. That's what, and some of them don't even write anything in there. Kind of questionable. But, I mean, they could be asking for a review right when they're on the job while they're watching a customer, which I don't want to do that to customers. Usually my secret is I do the job, try to be as helpful as possible, explain what I'm doing, and then take payment at the ending, and I ask them to text me their email address so I can give them receipt. So I'll drive off, park somewhere, make up the receipt, and email them, and then I'll text them saying, hey, I just sent your receipt. If you could leave me a review on Google, I would really appreciate it. And then usually I got a pretty high response rate on that. That was my own system. And as long as you're providing value, these customers that go out of your way, they go out of their way to help you. There was 2 other handymen that when I was Google searching, trying to see where I was ranking, when I would usually look is when you say handyman near me, you look at the map It comes up with a little mini map, and then it starts to rank the ranks. If you notice on top, it'll say sponsored. They're paying for it, so I don't count that. I start counting underneath. I want to be, you know, one of the 3. And I seen these other 2 handymen. I'm not going to say names. And before you know it, these reviews they're crazy. Something out of the clear blue. Because I was getting a bunch of reviews, and then they just started getting like, I don't even know, like 50 out of nowhere. I'm like, what happened? Or maybe 20 to 50. Like, what's going on? I start going in the reviews. I start looking. And then I'm like, these people are getting 5 reviews a day. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. And if there is, I mean, they're killing it, but holy crap. So I'm looking a little further. I get, well, side note. I get emails about me buying reviews. I don't buy reviews, and I don't suggest anybody do buy reviews, because Google doesn't mess around. They'll take you off the map. They'll take you off if you go against their policy. Dumbest thing to buy reviews. Dumbest thing. Just a warning. So usually I don't respond to those emails, or I say no thank you, because I need my response right up. So if they message me on Google, I have to respond to it, or else Google's gonna count that against me. But yeah, I'm going through these 2 handymen that are just blowing up the reviews, 5 a day, 3 a day, 2 a day. And I'm looking through it. I'm trying to click on the profiles of these people that are leaving these reviews. And it's saying profile private. Profile private. I'm like, what's going on? And then I see one of the pictures. They're talking about, oh, this guy did my electrical and he did such a great job. It shows a picture of a transformer on Unistrut that's up in the air. It's probably like this big. I probably this vertical, but I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, that's commercial. That's commercial. Unless this house is massive and they need that. Oh, there's a cop right there. Breaking the law. Breaking the law. Oh, I got to merge too. But, so I'm like, I start realizing all these reviews are fake. And eventually, Google caught on to it. And it took them off the map. They just disappeared. They just disappeared. And actually, those people, they got a bunch of reviews that paid for them. They weren't ranking high at all. Well, I mean, they were still ranking high, but low rating. That's all I was looking for. They, you know, out of 5.0, they could have like a 2.4. So I was getting a little upset when, you know, I work really hard to get reviews and these people are just buying these reviews. So that went good. That went really, really good. Man, I haven't been that nervous in a while. Usually I don't get nervous. But problem was, why is it gonna have me take a, forget this. I pull up to, so right now I'm just driving around giving out these packets now. And I pull up to the first place. These people, these prop managers I'm dealing, well, that I'm looking up, they're in big places, huge. So, pull up to the first place, it looks professional. Super professional. They got their construction truck out there. I think it's a management, construction, and whatever. But I was going over there, went inside, talked to the dude, shook his hand, told him my name was Brian, blah, blah, blah. We started talking. He's like, I'm a handyman. If you're in need of any handyman, he's like, yes. And you do, his first thing is like, do you do flooring? I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't. And the work I turned down, it would be so nice if, I didn't realize I had the radio on this whole time. It'd be so nice if I could refer stuff out. Really, I'd rather subcontract the work. Or trade work off. Somebody gave me all this work that I do, where I can give them all the work I don't do. But I have a feeling it won't really mesh up properly. But guy was super awesome. I told him what I do. He's like, oh, is this for me? I'm like, yep. Show him, walk him through what I have in the packet. He's like, oh, you're licensed. He's like, yeah. I'm like, yep. Super nice guy. But I was definitely stumbling over my words. Definitely a little shaky. Not used to this. Usually I just call up and I got myself prepared. Like back in the day when I was working for people, there's no way I'd be able to do cold calls. But when I was, but really I'm in real estate. I want to buy more rental properties. And what I was doing is, I was trying to call up these landlords, see if they want to sell their properties. So I'd find these addresses, look up these landlords' numbers, call them up. And so eventually I got decent at calling these people up and talking on the phone. So you have to have some kind of system down. It's different when you're in person, especially for the first time. No relationship, don't know what to say. It went smooth other than a little shaking I did. A little shaking. And then when I walked in there was you got the front office, and then there was next door, you just see all these guys, it's a big oval table. Everybody's all dressed up. I put a brand new pair of jeans on today. Brand new shirt. Gotta look good. It looks like I never worked a day in my life. So I'm going on to the next one now. Wish me luck. I don't even know if it's even better to go for the bigger companies. It might even be better to go with the smaller ones, because you can get a more personalized relationship. I just got another work order in. It says water coming up from kitchen sink drains. Water comes up from both drains, but goes back down. So I'm gonna push that off for tomorrow. Since I'm not really working today, since I already called it a day, I try to lump a couple of them in a day. What's wrong with that screen? I think it just flashed on me. That's what makes sense. If I just did one job here and then lumping them in makes more sense. But I just did, so I just went to another one now, another property manager. This one was a different scenario, which I was expecting. Walked in, super nice, fall direction, because this one just, you walked right in and there's a doorbell, no one's there in the front. Red directions where it said, use sanitizer before you ring the doorbell. Brought my packet in, and she was saying that they have their own people in house. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's good. I'm like, but there's not a time where you have to go call it out. It's like, oh, there's sometimes, very rarely. I'm like, okay. And then she was like, automatically, she was like, well, if you have a card. I'm like, okay, well, here I got you a packet. Everything, all my information's in there. I haven't had this feeling in a while. It's a good feeling when you're pushing yourself into situations where you're not comfortable with. Because eventually you will get comfortable with it. If you're always comfortable, you're not growing. And I was pushing myself a while back, going all these situations, especially getting into real estate, rental properties, tenants, all this. And I don't know how to put this, like I got some reward for it. People always say, that person's lucky. That person's lucky. But what I've learned is, no, that person's not lucky. They put themselves in the right spot to be lucky. And it just looks like luck. If you ever heard about people doing good, they're putting themselves out there, they're networking, they're putting themselves in the right spot to be lucky. And it happened plenty of times to me already. You know, you can't just stay at home and expect everything to come to you. Should probably take my own advice with that one. Finding a girl, I'm still single. Just waiting for her to show up at my door one day. Where do you find them at? The library? The problem is I'm so focused on myself to be focusing on that. One day. But the definition of insanity, expecting a different result, doing the same thing. So if you want things to change, you're gonna have to push, try something new to get a different result. That one just went the best out of all of them. That was number 3. And I see the doorbell, and I started walking in. I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to walk in here. I'm like, I'm just gonna ring this doorbell. Think guy talks to an office dude, or he just ended up getting the owner of the company there. And we started talking, and guy was super nice. He was telling me how his maintenance guy is getting, you know, he can't do it all. He's like, the other day we've got 18 maintenance requests, or 18 work orders. And that's crazy. And one guy can't do it all. And then the other people they call out to go or do maintenance. That was the person that does the in-house maintenance. They have other guys they do work for. But the problem is, they were saying, is they need a guy to acknowledge. Okay, well, first of all, the company's got to send out the work order. Now they want you to acknowledge you got the work order. Let them, I mean, they already contacted the tenant after you contact the tenant. But yeah, you know, that's the problem right now, I guess, they have with those contractors. They're getting a work order, they're not acknowledging it, and the tenant keeps on calling the office. People don't realize that if you make somebody else's life easier, job easier, they're only going to want to use you. And that was, he was pretty much stressing on that. And, which I don't blame him. I'm like, this is, and I had the packet, I'm like, well, this is why I made this for you. Because I want to make your guys' life easier. Wasn't ready for the price. They were asking me, give me, for example, what I charge for this. It was almost double. They gave me they said, okay, how much is it gonna cost to do this? And I said 500. And he's like, well, our guys usually charge this, 300 plus material. But he started telling me, those two guys, out of those two guys, the one guy said, yeah, I'll get to it. You know, typical contractors say they're gonna get to it, or they don't respond. Or the other guy said they'll be there in 2 weeks. So yeah, when you have cheap prices like that, you're typically slammed, I guess. You got, okay, cool, you get a big deal on that, but if you can't get a hold of them to do the job, is it really such a great deal? Worth the extra stress and all that? That one didn't work out so hot. I think I was a little too pushy on that one by accident. This one was an office building, and can't even walk in. Ring the doorbell, and guy answered. Told him who I was. Told him I was a handyman. If you guys are looking for any handyman, and then they said they already have their own maintenance guys. Then I brought up again, you know. Well, I mean, you guys, what happens if they can't do it? Do you guys call it out? Oh yeah, we have vendors. So I pretty much just gave my packet. You never know. You really never know. Because they might not use you, or they might use you. They might get desperate. They might call. I mean, when I was listening to the Bulletproof Handyman, I don't know how many said he was giving out. he was giving an example of making 12 packets and then giving them out. He might get 3 clients from it, but I don't know if it's more than 12 he's giving out, or days worth of him just driving around giving them out. But right now I'm like dealing with bigger, these ones I'm giving out, they're bigger property management companies. They're huge. I'm just so all these places are all going to be set up. They're going to have their own people for the most part. I haven't tried these guys, or the ones I'm doing today, but I just want to give it a go. You never know. This morning I called this one, it's a big one too, and I don't see an office. So I just called them up, said my own, said my spiel, and they just gave me an email to email my stuff out to. I wonder how long this video is. I've been talking for a long time. But I'm definitely happy with today. Definitely happy. Even if I don't get anything from it, I'll be happy even with one. Tell you the truth. But that's it. That's a wrap. Have a good night.